Dracula, the infamous blood-sucking monster. But Dracula isn't just a name, it's an icon, a symbol. Some interpretations even turn it into an entire race. Its vampiric legacy even birthed another name, vampire. But like many legends rooted in reality, Dracula didn't start as a supernatural being. He began as a man, Vlad III of Wallachia. And somewhere between history and horror, things got glitched. Hi, this is Narigane, your narrator for this Dracula story. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let's start glitching. Short answer? Not exactly, but the connection is not random. Vlad III earned the nickname Tepes, meaning the Impaler, for a reason. Impalement wasn't just execution, it was a performance. Bodies skewered on wooden stakes and left on display for all to see. By today's standards, it's horrific. Back then, strategic. One of the most infamous examples happened in 1462. As the Ottoman Empire advanced into Wallachia, they stumbled upon a gruesome warning: forest of impaled corpses. Thousands of them. Shocked and demoralized, some soldiers turned back in fear. This wasn't just a punishment. It was psychological warfare. Vlad ruled through terror, but it wasn't chaos. It was calculated. His cruelty was meant to scare off enemies and keep potential traitors in line. And his legacy would echo, not just in history books, but in fictions. Centuries later, Irish writer Bram Stoker would borrow his name, Dracula, meaning son of the dragon, and attach it into something entirely new. An undead, seductive nobleman with a thirst for blood. But even that wasn't the first vampire in fiction. Just 26 years before Dracula, a novella titled Carmilla introduced a female vampire. Elegant, mysterious, and deadly. Less brutal, more psychological. Together, Vlad, Carmilla, and Stoker's Dracula form the blueprint, the DNA that future vampires in folklore, film, and fantasy will be built on. In games, Dracula is rarely a man. He is a boss fight. Sometimes a tragic anti-hero, sometimes a world-ending menace. Other times, a stylish vampire lord with anime hair. The most iconic version? Probably Castlevania's Dracula. He is immortal, wields dark magic, often the final boss, resurrected so many times it's become a meme. He is not just inspired by the legend, he is the legend turned up to 11. But Castlevania is not alone. The Fate series does its own remix, with extra flair and multiple versions on top of that. In Fate Apocrypha, Vlad III appears as a heroic spirit, regal, proud, and desperate to distance himself from the vampire myth. He hates the Dracula association, and when forced into his Legend of Dracula form, he loses control, becoming the very monster that history turned him into. Meanwhile, in Fate Extra, things shift. This version leans into monstrous imagery, far more brutal, more inhuman, a reflection of darker version of Vlad the Tyrant, not misunderstood hero. Same name, same history, same franchise, with two widely different portrayals. That's the beauty of Dracula in games. They pick and choose which truth to amplify. From vampire survivors to darkstalkers, Dracula isn't just a character, he's a template. A myth that can be heroic, villainous, or somewhere in between. depending on the story being told. Which version of Dracula that you prefer the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. The real Vlad III? No vampire, obviously. No elegant noble sipping blood under moonlight. He was a prince, a warlord, a ruler who governed through fear, a man whose brutal legacy bled into myth. But over time, the line between fact and fiction blurred. His name, Dracula, was borrowed by Stoker, reshaped by horror, and reinvented in games and pop culture. The legend grew, and the man faded behind it. What remains is a symbol of power, of fear, of myth. And each adaptation, whether it's Fate, Apocrypha, Castlevania, or 100 other games, isn't really telling his story. They are telling ours, our fears, our fantasies, our need to rewrite history into something epic, dramatic, unforgettable. So next time a Dracula show up with glowing eyes, dark magic, or tragic backstory, remember, the truth behind the myth might be darker, and maybe even more human. You've been watching Lore Glitch. If you enjoyed unraveling this legend, hit like, subscribe for more, and let us know what you're thinking in the comment. Who should we decode next? Because when the legend evolves, facts get buried, and that's the glitch.